This is a story from when I was still in my first year of working. On my way home from work, I was walking through the city at night, not knowing about any bars yet. As I passed by a restaurant building, a woman hurriedly entered the building. She had long hair, was wearing a white one-piece dress, and I could only see her back, but she looked very beautiful and right up my alley. I immediately followed her into the restaurant where she entered. When I entered the restaurant, there were box seats on the left side and a counter for about 5 people on the right side. I sat in the middle of the counter, said beer, and glanced around to see what kind of women were in the bar. 2 plump women in their 30s were standing at the end of the counter looking at me. After about 15 minutes, I finally grew impatient and started talking about the women I had just seen. Then the woman who claimed to be honest said to me, "You know, I see that girl a lot. She is often seen in the area." She began to laugh and said, "I often see that girl." She told me that there were only 2 women in the store, and that when there were no customers, for some reason, new customers would just wander in. After a few weeks, I was introduced to various restaurants by my seniors, and I started drinking alone. I was alone in a restaurant introduced to me by one of my closest seniors. It was still around 7:00 p.m. and I was the only customer. The restaurant is run by a single mom. I was seated at the far end of the cramped-shaped counter from the entrance. After about 30 minutes of drinking beer, the counter seat I was sitting at was so cramped that my back was against the back wall, and the wall was covered with R-shaped light bulbs at equal intervals. The bulbs were not visible from the outside because of the cover. For some reason, I turned my head to my left to look at one of the bulbs. I saw a shadow of a fly or some kind of insect flying through the cover, and I immediately reached out my arm to chase it away. But the shadow kept flying through the cover no matter how many times I tried to chase it away. When I turned around and called the shop's mom, I saw a familiar woman sitting in the empty box seat closest to the entrance with long, black hair and a white dress. She was sitting in such a posture so that she did not show her face to me. I instantly understood that I had never been to the restaurant where I saw her since then, and that she must have come to call me because she was not busy. I didn't tell her where the girl in the white dress was, but she was staring at where she was sitting. After that, I never saw that girl again.